Hello there, I'm John at SKA, and today we're having a celebration of art and creativity by featuring a number of very special guests. Now, who could these special guests be? Could we be featuring some of the 100 professional artists around the world that we host each week in our painting tutorials? Nope. Today we are hosting you. Well, maybe not you exactly, but people like you, men and women around the world that just love painting and creating. People who found Shopkeep Arty and discovered it to be an indispensable resource, helping them to dramatically improve their art skills over time, while having fun and making new friends in different parts of the world. First, I need to give you a bit of background to this show. So a couple of weeks ago, we sent an email out asking some of our audience if they'd be up for making a video about the art that they've created throughout their time with SKA. We didn't give them much time to make them, sorry about that, and we're aware it can be difficult to film something for the first time if you're not used to it. Shout out to virtually all of you. Also, since we gave no specific guidelines on what we wanted, the replies we got are all very different in content and filming style. But I love them because of this very reason. Actually, I think the differences represent the diversity of our audience from around the world. That being said, these differences has meant that it's been a bit of an editorial nightmare. Fortunately though, I think we've managed to pull it off. A big shout out at this point to Reese at the Brit School for helping us pull this together in such a short space of time. Thank you, Reese. So without further ado, they say the only way is Essex, so we'll kick off with a trip to Chelmsford in the UK to hear from Debbie Rowley. We launched our monthly patron memberships in September 2020, and Debbie was one of the very first to sign up and support us, something we're eternally grateful for, as we just wouldn't be able to keep on doing our weekly shows without our patrons. Thanks to all of you, and now over to Debbie.
Oh, hi John and the rest of the Shopkeep Arty team. It's Debbie here, Debbie Rowley. Apologies for the mask, but I had a pretty bad accident last week when I was in Seattle, USA, and I've had a severe dental trauma. Anyway, I'm all right now. I'm back in my own country and I'm seeing people, so that's fine, but you know. So, yeah, this is where I do all my paintings in the outside room. And I have to say, since joining Shopkeep Arty, I think my painting has come on in leaps and bounds. So many various artists that I've had the pleasure of working with. And I think every time you're with a different artist, you gain something from that artist, and you pick up something, and then you learn from it. So yeah, I put my favorite paintings, I frame them and I put them on the wall so I can always see them, and then obviously I change them periodically. So anyway, this is what my outside room is now. So all my paintings here, and I reckon there's quite a few here that I have done from Shopkeep Arty. So I did this one with Kay Elliott, watercolour. Another watercolour here by Kenko Tanabe. And Jane Betteridge, this is watercolour and ink, little primrose. And here's this is a oil by Rhino Schwartz. Okay, so this is a watercolour and ink by Jane Betteridge, and this is another one of hers. This is one of the first workshops I did with Shopkeep Arty. It's by Tim Fisher, and that's in acrylic. And this is another acrylic. It's by Derek van Rensburg. Here's a tiny free Arty glass by Jane Betteridge, and a watercolour by Michael Jacob. This was my first pastel with Margaret Glass. This is a little Arty class by Kay Elliott, and a watercolour with Mega Couple, watercolour and ink with Jane Betteridge, watercolour with Jo Dowden, another watercolour with Jane Betteridge, Clematis, and finally another one with Mega Couple.
Oh, Debbie, I'm sorry to hear about your accident. I hope you feel better soon. But what an amazing room. You can hardly see the walls with all those paintings. Really pleased that you've thrown yourself into our community and that your art has developed so much. So well done. Now, around the time that Debbie became a patron, Louise Windzberg from Israel found our platform. So let's now go to a suburb of Tel Aviv and hear from Louise.
Hi, I'm Louise Windzberg and I live in Israel, and I discovered Shopkeep Arty quite by accident. I took a webinar with David Bellamy and discovered that the organiser of the webinar was Shopkeep Arty, and that opened a whole world for me. And since then, which was May last year, I've taken between 2 and 4 a week, and I must have done well over 70 pictures. Shopkeep Arty is so fantastic because you meet a wide variety of artists and you learn so many different skills that you wouldn't have known about otherwise. And it's quite fascinating. I did things that I never thought that I would be able to do. For example, this is under the guidance of Michael Jasovich, and we had to do a train. And I never thought I'd be able to do a train, but there you are, a train. I also took almost all the webinars with Randy Hale, who's become a great favourite of mine because he has a terrific palette, and I fell in love with it. It's so colourful. He taught me that it doesn't matter what the original colours were, it's how you see them and want to represent them. And these are a few of the things that I did under his guidance. That's a whistle stop. This is a shipwreck. And we also did a fantasy waterfall, a stylized waterfall. And again, look at the colors and how vivid it is. And another waterfall. And that also taught me how to do really good reflections. I also studied with Matthew Palmer, and he did a bird, and I was never very good at doing birds, but this is my effort. I did things that I found very difficult and was surprised that I was able to do them. The Shopkeep Arty, the webinars taught me to be much faster and much looser, because in order to keep up with the artist you have to make quick decisions and you have to paint really quickly. I took a few sessions with Vlad Yeliseyev, and here we were doing light and dark, and here's another one, and also to do with layering as well. And again, a street scene and cars, which I always try to avoid doing, but there they are. Somebody else I tried was David R. Smith. Now here is a fantasy forest, and again it's another totally different style, and very interesting to do, because you start with a bullseye and then from that you work out and incorporate the other parts and the other colours. So again, that was very interesting, and how to make the holes in the tree trunk so that they look like holes. Now, I also took some with Graham Booth. This is an evening scene, and he also showed that even if it's winter and everything is dead, you can still put colour in the picture. As you can see, he's made it very colourful. With Catherine Beale, I also liked her palette very much, and she also showed that a building doesn't have to be grey. It can have pinks and mauves in it, and the bushes and trees, etc. They can all be pinks and mauves. So that was another interesting workshop. I did something with somebody else, but I can't remember his name, where I learned how to make mist over the trees. And it's almost a monochrome, excepting for the little birds flying past. I decided to try mixed media with Jane Betteridge, and I didn't have all the things that she used, but I did have the acrylic paints and the watercolours, and I gave it a try. And that also was a very interesting experience. I did something very interesting with Joe Dowden. He used masses and masses of masking fluid in order to create the pictures. So I thought, okay, the flowers, sorry, in order to create the flowers, I thought, okay, I'll give it a try. It was very, very interesting, although it was much more difficult than it seems. But that shows from that you can learn a whole load of different styles, and I try to incorporate them in my work. So I just hope that Shopkeep Arty continues, because it is terrific, and I want to thank you, John, for organising everything. Thank you.
Thank you for those kind words, Louise, and your paintings look fantastic. I noticed they're all loose leaf, and I hope you'll take some inspiration from Debbie before and get some framed. They certainly deserve it. We'll now journey to Metro Manila in the Philippines, and we're going to hear from Kathleen Hernandez. Thank you for sharing some of those photos of your art from some of the classes, Kathleen. I noticed that there was a few from one of our pastel and watercolour professionals, Iris Babao-Uy. I'm really glad that you're on board with us. We'll now fly back to the UK and hear from another of our patrons, Susie Smith from Berkshire.
Hi, I'm Susie. I've been painting with John and Shopkeep Arty and all the wonderful hosts pretty much from the start. Not quite, but for a long time now. So long, in fact, that my hair has gone from this to this. And my dining room has gone from this to this. How horrendous. Fortunately, I have an extremely tolerant husband, but the piles of paintings are building up. They're actually hidden, but I'll pull a few out to show you. Some of them are cropped for brevity's sake. Some of them are sort of finished, but I do have a lot that aren't. And then I mean to go and finish them watching the video, which would be great if I had the time and not be enticed by the next project instead, which happens a lot. I have fibromyalgia, so I'm not always well enough to paint along at the time, but I always enjoy watching and asking questions, and then if I want to, I can watch the video later and then have a go, which is pretty perfect. One successful attempt was good enough to give to my son last Christmas, and it's now on the wall in his flat, and he loves it, and everyone that sees it seems to love it as well. It was the wacky cow that we painted with Liz Chatterton, so thanks Liz from me and Jamie. So thanks everyone at Shopkeep Arty. I've had a wonderful time, really have, and I look forward to quite a few more wonderful times next year. Merry Christmas.
So funny, Susie. What a great video. I really laughed out loud when I saw the photo of your living room, the after one. Absolutely brilliant. Fantastic paintings as well. It's been great to get to know you over the years and make sure you're getting the most out of the classes that we host. It certainly seems that you have, and thank you as well for the contributions that you make on our patron Q&As once a month. It's been indispensable. It's now time to go stateside, so we'll now zoom to Massachusetts and visit Karl Jacob.
Hello, I'm Karl. I'm a patron of Shopkeep Arty. I've been asked to share a few thoughts and observations about my experiences with Shopkeep Arty. I've been a patron for nearly a year. Since joining, I've sat in on numerous short demos and workshops. My painting skills have greatly improved. What do I like about Shopkeep Arty? First, the welcoming nature of John, his hosts, and the artists. They make the whole process of registering and attending demos and workshops so easy. They're always soliciting feedback for ways to improve. My wife says I need to do more of that skill. The format of the demos and workshops flow seamlessly, and questions get answered. I like that I have the opportunity to attend the shorter demos, which gives me a peek of what the longer workshops are about prior to committing to the full workshop. I also like that sketches are provided in advance, along with the suggested list of materials. Another great feature is the availability of replays after the demo or workshop is completed. It helps my learning process to replay and paint along as often as I want. Shopkeep Arty also provides a forward-looking calendar on their website, which allows me to see what is coming and plan my schedule and budget accordingly. Now, a few words about the instructors. The number of instructors and variety of choices is impressive. The quality of the instructors is always top notch. With some other online platforms, many of the instructors are not as nearly experienced as the ShopKeep Arty instructors. The instructors are so patient and explain what they are doing and why. All questions get answered. It is really an immersive learning experience. I like to take notes during the sessions, then go back and watch the replay and paint along at my own pace. I keep a notebook full of workshop and demo tips for each I attend. I know I'm getting access to the best in the field at a really reasonable price. It's great value for the money. Becoming a patron and all the benefits was an absolute no-brainer for me. Now, this in particular may be of interest to some of you patrons. I started selling my artwork. I used the money earned to fund more workshops and art material purchases. It's come full circle. And finally, an appeal. For you men out there, please become a patron. I am severely outnumbered by the women patrons. We need more of you. It may help save my marriage. My wife is convinced that I'm up to something. Lastly, here is a peek at some of my art. And finally, to everyone out there, have a Merry Christmas.
Thanks, Karl. I had another chuckle when you said you wanted more patron men to join, as your wife is getting suspicious. Very funny. Also, great that you've been selling the paintings you create in our classes to attend more workshops. Now, that is true sustainability at work, so absolutely brilliant. And thanks for sharing your paintings with us all. One of the reasons that I've loved this hosting role, especially over the last few years, is that it's helped people connect during a period of forced isolation. And as well as connecting with and supporting many new faces, it's also meant that I've personally been able to support people closer to home. So let's now journey to Bath in the UK and hear from my mum.
Hello, John. Thank you so much for setting up ShopKeep Arty. This last 18 months has been so good for me, and joining all these professional artists that you've gathered over that time and letting them show us their techniques and giving us their tips has been marvellous. Initially, I enjoyed doing landscapes, which, as you can see, sometimes worked, sometimes didn't. That one I thought with the waterfall, I tried to capture the waterfall. Wasn't too unhappy, not for me. And I don't know who that artist was, but I remember him doing the swirl of stuff all around and to show the light. I think that a similar thing. I don't know if it was the same artist. And that was just a bluebell wood, trying to get the light under the trees somehow and the shadows, but enjoyed it. But then I realised that I liked more detail, and I just loved doing this one and this one, and I can't remember excuse me, who the artist was but that was such fun to do. Then I felt that getting on to more detailed work, I think that was one of Jane Bettridge's actually, and I loved doing the detail more and more. The little eggs, that wasn't Jane's, but that was another female artist, but that was very interesting, and I just loved doing that. It's not a very good one, but with the glass in front of the circle of leaves and stuff, that was again such fun to do. And I also I started doing animals. Is that a ptarmigan? Maybe. Loved doing that one. I thought that was really wacky and thoroughly enjoyed it. Unfortunately, My little dog looked as if he's been on a diet. I think he was a little bit more rounded than that, but his little face is so cute. That was a good one. I thought I'd done quite well with that, and that's quite a long time ago, but really good. And this one, the robin, was way back at the beginning, and I just was so pleased with myself. This was a latter one. That was the tit on the tap. Enjoyed it, but didn't quite get the bird right somehow. But this one, although it's completely wrong, I just loved this approach. And I did a few of those, just, not very good, but just because I enjoyed doing it. And I shall do more of that type of thing. And that was interesting. The boy, again, I've done a lot wrong, but it was very interesting to do, and I loved all the shading, which of course I didn't get right, and of course I really didn't get that right, but again, just got that. I think I didn't finish that one off. Perhaps if I'd have continued, I might have got somewhere. So that's my artwork, and so thank you again to you and all the professional artists from around the world, and to everybody who's viewing these videos. I say stay safe and Merry Christmas to you all. Bye.
Thanks, Mum. I'm really pleased you've taken advantage of these shows over the last few years. And by the way, that artist who did the bridge with the swirly stuff was Pablo Ruben from Spain. There was also the animal paintings you showed. I'm glad you've taken note of who the artists are. That was Liz Chatterton, who did a lot of those animals. And the floral and portrait pieces, the one with the shards of glass, that was Carn Griffiths. Absolutely amazing artists, all of them. From Bath to now a sink, as we fly to Helsinki, terrible joke I know, in Finland, to hear from Leila Luoto. Thanks, Leila, for sharing some of your paintings. It was great to see the progression you've made over the time that you've spent with us. Now we're going to journey to County Clare in Ireland for a word from Pauline Dunleavy.
Hello everyone, I'm standing here in my shop in West Clare in Ireland. Greetings to you all. I just want to say thank you to Shopkeep Arty for all the great sessions that I've done over the year. I was closed for 4.5 months due to COVID, and I think it was a lifeline and a game changer, both for your head and also for my art. I actually paint. These are some of my paintings that are standing behind me. But I started off the year and I just said, okay, I'm going to be closed for at least 3 months. And as it happened, it was 4.5 months. So I had lots of time to paint. And with Shopkeep Arty, John was absolutely amazing. I just loved tuning in on different workshops. I started the year off, I remember with Vlad Yaski. I'm sorry, Vlad, if I'm mentioning it wrong. I just loved his watercolours so much. I bought his book and I have literally ate it. I love it, how he just makes painting streetscapes so easy. Graham Booth, of course, who I absolutely love, and I've done quite a few workshops, and in fact we've had Graham down to Kilrush on 2 or 3 occasions to give workshops to the Kilrush Art Group, which is always great. And I then tuned in on Karyn Griffiths, where he used pieces of glass to bring his watercolours to absolute heights of all kinds. Really, I loved them. Then I tuned in to, is it Fazia Shabanam? I did a beautiful flower arrangements with her. I remember, oh my God, amazing. And yeah, and of course Anya Devine did her portrait and watercolors, and again started with the eyes and just brought a beautiful painting out. Right, just beautiful. I loved it. Thank you, Anya. Robert Dutton and Fiona Hooper, oh my God, again just great artists, loved them. And Kiko Taniba, girl that lives in Florida, I think, but originally from Japan. Oh, she made watercolors sing on the page. I loved it, yeah, so much. And then I did oils with John Crump and Derek van Rensburg. Again, I just loved their style. Their style is absolutely amusing and beautiful ways of doing it. Very simple but very effective, and it was great to see it. And Marvin Chu was my last guy I did just to set in on his one. But again, beautiful people and beautiful ways of doing it and showing the world what it's like. And they made our lockdowns much more easier, which was great. Yeah, I just locked myself above in my little room and just tuned in. Thank you, John. I really enjoyed it, and I'm going to continue on with Shopkeep Arty, needless to say, and looking forward. In fact, some of the time I let you into a little secret. Sometimes it's bad to go to work when I could be at home painting. But look, thanks so much, and have a good year.
Thank you, Pauline, for your lovely comments. It made me smile when you said you'd rather be at home painting. I know how you feel, although I'm always at home, but I never paint. Oh, well. It means we're doing our job right anyway. And what a lovely looking shop. You've got bright and airy and some lovely paintings on the wall behind you as well. So now we're going to go back to the UK and Northumberland to hear from Andy Burnett.
Hi everyone, my name's Andy and I'm a member of Shopkeep Arty, a level 4 patron I think. I thought I'd put this little video together just because John was asking for contributions. So what to say, I took up painting the start of this year. First time I'd lifted a brush since I was at high school. I'm colourblind, and at high school someone pointed that out, that I'd painted someone's hair green, and I gave up after that. It was quite embarrassing. But I took it up again last start of this year during lockdown and recovering from a heart attack. Needed something, just something to do to pass the time, something enjoyable, something relaxing. So watercolour painting seemed the trick, and I soon discovered Shopkeep Arty and joined up. I'll try and keep this short. John said he could edit bits out if need be. So let me show you this one thing. I'll change the camera view. Oh, maybe I can't. I'll turn it around. This magic box. Now I can't actually see what I'm looking at here. There must be a way to do this. This magic box here, a shoebox, has all my art stuff in it. Okay, this is my setup. Just an ordinary dining table. Absolutely chock block of junk and all sorts. And whenever I want to paint, I just set it up here. Nice old towel covered in paints, a board, sellotape holder, just to put an angle on my board. Hahnemühle paper that I use because it's animal friendly, if that appeals to anyone. Hahnemühle have paper that the sizing that they use is apparently cruelty free or animal product free. Mixture of brushes, some very good, some cheap and nasty, and basically just whatever I come across that I feel like I need, I just buy it and try it out. These little bowls I found in Sardinia when I didn't have a palette with me, but I had my paints and I didn't have a palette. So I just bought these. They were like €1 each, and I liked the colours. As you can see, all the paint's dried on them, but it's easy to reactivate. And another little palette there that I first started using. Shopkeep Arty, Graham Booth Workshops. That was the freebie version, and my version of it, not great painting but enjoyable. And that was this earlier this week, start of December, workshop with Graham from Northern Ireland. Most enjoyable, even though my attempts are a little bit murky at points. Learning every time though. Some things I've done on my own, just to show you the Prague where I used to live. That's Charles Bridge in Prague, from a photo I found online actually. I quite liked the difference in tones there. Yep. There's a painting I did of a friend, a bit more colour in it, from a pose that she wasn't posing in a puddle or at the beach, but I just added it in just to see if I could do something. And what else have we got? That's from a Matthew Palmer workshop, who's recently been a Shopkeep Arty. There's a scene that I want to do for a friend. That's the River Thames in London, believe it or not, or just the outskirts of London. And this was another Paul Clark one that I really enjoyed doing. I don't know if Paul's been on Shopkeep Arty, but he should be. You should consider inviting him. Very funny guy and very good artist. Okay, that's basically it. You can see there all my different paints, a mixture of paints and a lot of Daniel Smith ones as well, which everyone says are great, so I'm adding to my little collection all the time. And yeah, loving it. Shopkeep Party, free workshops, paid for workshops, all different styles, lots of different artists. Yeah, give it a try. Thanks.
Great video, Andy. Thanks for sharing. And Karl, here's evidence for your wife that you're not the only man that's part of our community. It was really interesting to hear, Andy, that you had a calling to art as a child, but gave up when you realised you were colourblind and people were teasing you about it. Such a shame. But what's so inspiring about this story is that you decided to revisit it earlier this year and you've never looked back. So I'm really pleased that you tried that and that you've had that experience with us. I can see that you've been doing some great painting, so keep up the good work. Brilliant. Thanks for sharing. We're now off to Arizona in the US for a word from Karyn Vampotic.
Good morning. My name is Karyn Vampotic, and hello from beautiful Oro Valley, Arizona, a suburb of Tucson. I was lucky enough to find Shopkeep Arty. I don't know how, but I have just loved seeing the videos from all over the world, all the different techniques and all the different artists. It's just been a wonderful experience. I'd like to congratulate John on such an amazing project, and I'm telling all my friends and hoping that everybody will support it. I'm currently at level 2. I don't have that much free time as I'm my husband's caretaker. I started painting after I retired 8 years ago. I'm a retired trial lawyer and just love watching and painting, and actually did my first paint along last week. So I hope that you have the good fortune to find Shopkeep Arty and to sign up for whatever level you can afford, because it is a fabulous opportunity. Thanks so much, John.
And thank you, Karyn. I'm so pleased you did find us, and I know you'll be a fantastic asset to our patron community as we grow, so all the best. Let's now go to East Sussex in England to hear from Kerry Bennett.
Hi, my name's Kerry Bennett. I just wanted to say thank you to Shopkeep Arty to letting me see some of the lovely videos and participating in a couple of workshops, which have always been really inspirational. And not only has it improved, I've learnt a lot and improved my teaching, but also I've learnt a lot on techniques, which has been fantastic. So it's all a winner. So just to say thank you so much, and here's a few things that what I've been up to. Here's some of my paintings that have been inspired when I went to the workshops. This one was with Liz Chatterton, and I've went to the Kearney Griffiths ones as well, which I've seen him before, and he's always amazing. So they're always so relaxed and fun to do, so I really enjoyed them. Here's my inspiration from after Kearney, chucking tea and ink or watercolour. And another one. And then with his splashing of tea and inks and drawing eyes, except I adopted my own style of animals' eyes. Just a few of them, but they've been always really good fun. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for those kind words, Kerry, and I thought your paintings were beautiful. We'll now journey to Italy and the ever beautiful Tuscany landscape. Hazel Murray has not only attended many of our live workshops throughout the years, she's also become so vested in our mission to encourage people to give art a try. She's now one of our co-hosts. So over to you, Hazel.
I first came across Shopkeep Arty via the artist Keiko Tanabe. I went on a course with her a few years ago. I love her work. And about a year ago, a little bit more, she sent me an email saying she was going to be giving a free 1-hour class via Zoom. And did I want to join in? Of course I wanted to join in. And I did. And the rest, as they say, is history. This is one of the pictures that I did with Keiko. It's not actually one of the best, but although I've hunted through many drawers and wardrobes, I can't find all the photos that I would have liked to put up today. So this is one that I did with Keiko. So that was right at the very beginning. I think over a year and a bit. I've improved a bit since then. One of my favourite artists that I think I knew about before Shopkeep Arty, but I've really enjoyed doing classes with her, is Liz Chatterton. This is one of hers, and I've called it Social Distancing, ? This is another one of hers. I've got 2 cats myself, and I just love Liz's beautiful furry cat, so loose. One of these days I'm going to do one of mine. Another of my favourite artists has been David R. Smith. I'd never heard of him before, and I think his technique, he's taught me so much. So this is one of his, and swinging this round. This is also a David R. Smith, which I absolutely adore. So without Shopkeep Arty, this is one of the more recent ones. So I think you can see that I've actually improved quite a lot. Then we go to Jane Betteridge. This is the wisteria painting that I did in a class with Jane. And this is the poppy. I had to hunt for it for ages because I'd actually put it aside to frame it because I like it so much. This is one of my most recent paintings with Scar, Shopkeep Arty, and that's with Graham Booth. And I really like this. I think I did quite well on this one. This is a much earlier Graham Booth one, and you can see it's a little bit heavy-handed. I mean, I'm still pleased with it, but I think I've learnt a bit more lightness of touch since then. So I think I'm definitely learning. A fairly new artist to Shopkeep Arty is Catherine Beale. Now, I've just done one 1-hour class with her, which was my green boat, which I can no longer find, which is really annoying because I really liked it. It'll be somewhere special. And this is her blue boat, Bath Canal. And I think I did that quite nicely, so I'm quite proud of that. I think this is my most recent painting, except that it's not actually a painting. It's pastels with Robert Dutton. Although I had pastels, I didn't really have much idea how to use them until I've done a few classes with Robert. And I really like this frosty riverbank. It might be a bit busy for some people's tastes, and I accept that, but I think I'm pleased with it. And finally, this was a textures and pastels and bit of watercolour and everything else thrown in with Les Dowlow. Initially, after the class, it was a bit of a disaster, but having worked on it for a while afterwards, I think it's rather nice. This was done in a class with David Bellamy, who has been painting for so long, such wonderful, exciting paintings. I gave it a slightly Italian twist, in particular the colouring and the roofs, but basically it's his composition. So it sounds like I'm really quite pleased with a lot of the stuff that I've done, but I am, because I've picked out my favourites. So, you know, there's an awful lot of rubbish in some of the drawers. 2 other artists that I can't actually find the paintings that I did with, but I've really enjoyed their classes, are Megha Kapoor and also Iris Babayo. I can't pronounce the rest of her name, but she does fantastic watercolours, also using pastels as well. So that's been a bit of a plus, combining the 2. So basically, I've been painting with Shopkeep Arty for just over a year now. So many lovely artists that I've discovered, so many other lovely hobby painters or maybe semi-professional painters that I've basically communicated with through the Zoom painting classes. It's such a nice community, and I'm looking forward to next year.
Thank you, Hazel, and I know you've been getting an awful lot out of the classes over the years. It's also great to have you on board with us, helping to host some of the other art shows. I'm just a little bit jealous that when we hook up on the odd video call, you always seem to be relaxing with a half-drunk glass of white wine and what seems like some vineyards or something in the background. So just maybe I can come and visit you sometime. Anyway, finally, our last spot was reserved for someone who I've really grown to respect since she discovered SKA late in 2020. She's attended many of our live shows and has been a true asset with her insightful questions and comments. She's also got an insatiable appetite for trying new art techniques and materials out. Unfortunately, we've not seen Trina quite as much recently because she's recently been dealing with a personal loss. However, I'm really pleased that she found some time to put this together for us. It wouldn't be quite the same without you, Trina. So let's now travel to Sacramento in California and hear from Trina Drota.
Good morning from Trina in Sacramento, California, and Merry Christmas to everyone. These are just a few of the artworks that I've been doing since I joined Shopkeep Arty in late 2020, just about a year ago. Some works by Vlad and Graham Booth. One of my favorites, Keiko Tanabe. Another one of my absolute favorites is Michael Joshowitz. I love his work. I love this train. I want to go on this train. And this snow scene here, I would love to go there as well. It looks pretty cold, but that's okay. And he did some boats. So has Amit Kapoor and Randy Hale. And Graham Booth does a lot of boats as well. And so did Keiko Tanabe. And she did this wonderful fish market. Some of these I did live in class. Most of them I did when I reviewed the video. I love portraits. Took this class with Renato, was really happy with that. Steffi Butler, I watched hers as part of my membership. And recently I had the chance to take a workshop with Andre Cano, and I'm still working on the portrait, as you can see. And I love Liz Chatterton's work with all her fun animals. Even the otter that didn't turn out too well. And Jane Bettridge always has some really fun techniques with some mixed media works. And I've really enjoyed the opportunities that I've had with Shopkeep Arty and being introduced to so many wonderful artists in watercolor, which is where I'm working right now, and also in oils and pastels and so many other wonderful techniques. I currently have a setup right here because I can close the door and keep the cat out, so I can work quietly in here. I also have an extensive notebook that I keep notes from every class or demo that I attend, not just with Shopkeep Arty, but with so many other places as well. Though Shopkeep Arty definitely has one of the best offerings. And here's a couple of my tools, and again my brushes, and I've got a palette underneath here and a few new colors that I've been experimenting with. So thank you very much and have a great holiday.
Thank you so much, Trina. You've certainly joined us for some great classes with some amazing artists around the world. I'm also intrigued by that notebook of yours. I bet it's a little goldmine of knowledge and maybe a future publishing opportunity. Maybe we can hook up offline and have a chat about that. Maybe we can help. So as we approach the end of this show, both myself and the SKA team have been really touched by your videos. So thank you so much for taking the time to send them in. Your comments have meant an awful lot, and you can really see the progression of your painting techniques when you compare them from earlier workshops to the later ones. Well done to all of you, and it's comforting to know that we've got people like you and the others of our patrons that join us on our Q&As each month as part of our growing community. Next year is going to be a new chapter for our platform. In addition to our painting tuition webinars, we'll also be introducing some new shows helping to inform you about new materials as well as how to sell your paintings. Maybe we should feature Karl for that. What do you think? But as always, we'll discuss these things with our patrons, who then help influence the direction of our platform as we progress and provides you then with what you want and need. For those stumbling across this video and SKA for the first time, I hope you feel inspired to at least check us out and hopefully jump on board. It's a lovely feeling to get your hair down, a bit like Susie earlier in the show, and get loose and free with paint. And we're here to support you every step of the way. We're like, as someone said the other day, one big Arty family. The best place to find out more is our website, shopkeeparty.com. You can see the necessary links in the description below. Once there, you can see what live events are coming up. You can also visit our video library with over 400 hours of ad-free tuition from some of the world's best. Realistically, I'm aware that there are so many video channels out there, so if you've been inspired by this show and you're feeling all excited but think you'll maybe visit our website later and you want to just click to another video and then you'll probably subsequently forget to come back and you'll have missed this opportunity, please at the very least do the following before clicking onto something else. So first, please give this video a like by clicking the thumbs up below. It costs you nothing, but it really does help YouTube realize that this video is actually not bad, and then they might show it to more people, which then helps us with our mission to inspire others to get involved with art. Second, click the subscribe button just here below and make sure that you hit the notification bell when you do this, because YouTube emails you when we go live for our next event, and if you don't switch the notification bell on, it doesn't tell you when we publish a new video, something I've recently found out. Then finally, click this video just here to see all about how to use our tutorial video library. It's only 6 minutes long, but it's well worth it. Thank you for joining me today. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you at one of our next live events very soon. Take care.